My inner teen is in 90s music heaven right now. Yes. Thank you, Kim, for such a soulful version of that song, right? Who will save your soul? Guess what? It's up to us. And that's the good news. Because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to put my life experience in the hands of someone else. Might as well know that right here, right now, in this moment, I have the opportunity to know the truth of who I am and to live it. So I'm so excited now, y'all, to get to introduce to you our speaker. We say guest speaker, but she is our own beloved community member. So let me tell you a little bit about the Reverend Jenna Evergreen. She is an ordained interfaith minister graduating in 2024 from All Faith Seminary International. She trained here as a spiritual practitioner, graduating in 2017, and she currently works as a community support associate at New Vista and has previous experience working with the elderly and special needs populations. And in her free time, Jenna loves gardening, self-sustainability, and raising milk goats. I don't know. We might need to have a field trip. I might need to come pet some goats or something. Yes, and a big part of her life and ministry is also the fact that she has been sober and in recovery for over 38 years. So please welcome Jenna Evergreen.
Good morning. This is an interesting place to be from my usual spot, but see how this goes. So we have been studying the past few weeks this fabulous book by Thich Nhat Hanh, The Art of Living. And today we're going to talk about letting go, a new way of being together. In the beginning of this chapter, Thich Nhat Hanh talks about, he says, living our lives fully and deeply requires courage. If we cannot be happy right here and right now, we need to ask ourselves, why? If we're having difficulty touching peace and the wonders of the cosmos in our daily life, there must be something getting in the way. We need to find out what that is. What is weighing us down or pulling us away from the present moment? So I have a question. What is the present moment? What is that? We talk about that all the time. Living in the present moment. Do we know what that is? Really? Who lives there? Who knows how to spend a moment in the present moment? How do we understand what that is? That's our goal. Because the present moment is the truth. So how do we get to that? And the author talks about things like ropes and entanglements. I would say our everyday life is probably enough to rope and entangle us. All the stuff we think about in our job and what we have to do and our families and everything in our life. Dr. Fred, I can't read his name very well. Anyway, Lawson? Lucan, yeah, that's it. He said that we have 60,000 thoughts that go through our mind every day. 60,000. How on this earth do we get in this present moment? How do we get out of that? And he says that 95% of them are repetitive and 80% of them are negative for most people. So this is a lot a barrier to how do we get to the present moment? How do we do that? And the author Thich Nhat Hanh talks about what I would call a tool, mindfulness. And he says, according to Oxford Languages, mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment, while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. Mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment, while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings and thoughts and bodily sensations. So I think the key word to that is accepting. How do we accept everything that comes into our experience? That's a big thing. What does that mean? Acknowledging and accepting. And accepting means non-judgment, non-resistance. Just, it's there, no matter what happens. So, it also talks about listening to our feelings and accepting our feelings. So how do we do that? Do we listen to our feelings? Do we feel our feelings? Those icky feelings that we don't like, we kind of tend to push away and not feel them, and we get busy, or we listen to music, or we go do something, or we play games on our phone, or we watch television, or how many distractions do we have? Thousands. Thousands of distractions. What would it be like to not do some of those distractions sometimes? You know, I come home from work and I turn the television on. And I know I'm doing that. And I say, you know what, I'm tired and I don't want to think, I don't want to feel, I just want to veg out and I just want to look at something stupid. so I turn the television on and look at something that doesn't make any sense, probably in some kind of stupid plot. And, you know, it's not helpful, but, you know, it's what I do. And it's hard not to do that. It's really hard not to do that. So I've been practicing putting the meditation music on with the nature scenes. That's a little bit better. It's still a distraction. I really realize that, but it's better. It's not quite as like with people on talking and everything. But, you know, I think I have found in my life it's not easy to sit and be with myself in silence. So, and when we sit with ourselves in silence, sometimes those feelings that we kind of pushed away in the past kind of come up. And I remember in practitioner training, I love this example. It's the iceberg. It's like the iceberg is in the ocean, and there's this little bitty part on the top, and that's our conscious part of our awareness. And below is like 90%, this huge mass is our subconscious. And this has got all that repressed stuff and all that stuff we were programmed when we were little, and all this stuff in there that kind of runs our life, but we're not even aware of it. So, how do we work with that? How do we change that? How do we... Because that causes us problems. it causes us some of those judgments and those opinions that we have, because we have all these things that we were taught to believe when we were little that maybe aren't really true, that aren't helpful. Like certain kinds of people aren't, I don't know, certain ways and, all kinds of things. And so when we can sit with ourselves in the silence, and the author talks about we have to let the feeling surface before we can heal it. And this is kind of like when he talks about the mud. It's like the mud has to be visible. We have to be able to waller in it and walk in it and see it and feel it. So when that stuff starts coming up, we just sit in the silence and feel it. And then when it starts coming up, we can take a deep breath and we can, don't push it away, we can bring it towards us. Pull it into ourselves. And we can have some compassion and understanding. And we can love that part of ourselves. That part of ourselves that we've kept pushed away. We can bring it up to ourselves and we can love it. That's how we learn to love ourselves. How do I love myself? I love those icky parts. That's where the flower comes from. Out of the mud. That's the flower. And then we can begin to love each other. Because we have that understanding and compassion of what it's like to be in the mud. And we know what that feels like. And we know what it feels like to look at it and see it in ourselves so we can see it in another person. And that's what every religion or spiritual wisdom tradition on this earth has a clause in it for us to love each other. We're all familiar with the one, love your neighbor as yourself. All of them have one like that. They don't say exactly the same thing, but it's the same thing. That's how we heal. That's how I would say that's the beginning of the ropes and entanglements, of untangling that, is learning to just be in silence and love ourselves and love each other. I had an experience happen to me last night. It just kind of came up. I have a dog, and he is 15 and a half years old, and he is having a very hard time. He can't get up and walk. His back legs don't work right. There's something going on in his spinal cord, and he crisscrosses his legs, and he can't walk. And so I've been so I have this nice bed for him, and I have it's real soft, and a blanket, and of course puppy pads, and all the stuff that goes with that. And sometimes he gets upset, and he starts backing up against the wall and banging his head against the wall, and just getting so upset, and banging, and I'm going, I don't know what to do. I can't help you walk. So I take him outside, or take him somewhere, or do something with him. So last night I was talking to a friend of mine, and he started doing that. And I said, I don't know what to do with my dog. I don't know what he wants. I can't make him happy. And she said, well, maybe it's part of his starting to pass. Maybe he's just kind of going through. He has to do that. And when she said that, it touched this part of my heart. And I thought, well, he needs me to just love him. And I laid down behind him on his bed, and I put my arms around him, and he stopped and just fell asleep. And I thought, that is a perfect example of what we all need. Whether we actually literally hug each other and love each other, or just energetically. It's like we need to love each other. And I thought, all this time I was trying to fix it by doing something. All I needed was for me to just lay down beside him. And the cats know that, because the cats go up beside him and lay down beside him all the time, and he's always peaceful when they're doing that. 2 or 3 of my cats just lay down right beside him, right under his, in the little cubby holes. You know how cats are. And he loves that. It's beautiful. So when we have loving compassion, that is what heals us and heals the world. I like what Ernest Holmes says. He says, love overcomes both hate and fear. However, love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force, but by a subtle power of transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. It is invisible in its presence, it is invisible in its essence, but apparent through its act. As light overcomes the darkness, as the presence of heat causes the coolness of a room to change until it's warm and comfortable, so the radiant action of love dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. I would like to invite everyone to close their eyes if that feels comfortable. Just take a deep breath. And feel your breath. And feel your body relax as you breathe. And as you breathe, think this thought to yourself. I am the love that God is. I am the peace that God is. I am the joy that God is. Just feel that. This is truth. I am the love that God is. I am the peace that God is. I am joy. I am joy. Feel these truths of who you are. God is love. God is peace. God is joy. And we are each this truth that God is. We are a part of this energy we call God. This magnificent energy that is all that there is. There is only one life. And that one life is love. And that love is there no matter what. No matter what it feels like. No matter what it appears to be like. No matter what happens. There is only love. And there is only peace. And there is only joy. And we can choose to become that and feel that and live that kind of life in any moment. Because this is the truth of who we are. Every living thing on earth is God. And I'm so grateful for this truth. Knowing it is so. And I leave this prayer into the law of the universe. Knowing it is always so. And so it is.